The Weekly Ribbit.
Hello, and welcome to this week's Weekly Ribbit. Well, this week's certainly not going to be as much fun as last week. I don't have that cool frog hat on. It's not Halloween, but I'm going to talk about something really very important this week, and that is how do you prepare your fish pond's filtration system for the winter months? This is a really tough question to answer because there's so many different types of filtration systems out there. The two main that we deal with, though, are the skimmer and biofall filtration systems, which is this kind. So there's a skimmer and a biofall that just recirculates itself, and there's also pressure filter filtration systems, which look similar to these two types. You can have either one, so you need to figure out which one you have first before you can actually figure out what you need to do to that. I'm going to cover both of them somewhat quickly today. I'm going to do an overview of them, and if you have any questions, please let us know. We'd be more than happy to help you out. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the skimmer and the biofalls filtration. This filtration system, I feel, and we feel here, is the easiest one to really winterize for the winter months. The first thing you need to do is, of course, unplug your pump. So when you stick your hands in that water, you don't get zapped. So unplug the pump, and the next thing you're going to do is disconnect the pump. You're going to have probably a check valve in there or some kind of connection that goes to your plumbing line from the pump to the plumbing line. You want to disconnect the pump, pull your pump out of the skimmer box. And before you can even get to the pump, I forgot a step, you need to take out that skimmer basket, and you're also going to have a filter pad in there as well as a filter pad brace that's on there keeping your filter pad. So you want to take that stuff out, rinse it down, because you're going to want to store that for the winter. Then take your pump out, rinse that down, drain the water out. If you have a check valve on it, make sure that does not go back in the skimmer. And all of those things you're going to store inside. So now you have the skimmer emptied. Now you need to go up to your biofalls. The biofalls is going to have pads in it, and it's also going to have a pad brace as well. Take both of those items out, rinse down your pads, and those you're going to store inside as well. Your biofalls should not have much water in it at this point. Most of it should have drained when you disconnected your pump in the skimmer. I'm going to take a shop vac, one of those cool vacuums, vacuum out that water, and then use the shop vac to blow out the pipes. It's really extremely important that you get as much, if not all of the water out of those pipes so that they don't burst and freeze over the winter time. Once you've blown those pipes out, there's going to be a thing in the bottom of the biofalls. You can get a plug and plug that up. The sizes are going to be different in all the biofalls because there's so many different ones out there. Plug that up and you're done. Your filtration system is now winterized. Next is the pressure filter winterization. These can get a lot more complicated because there's so many variations of them out there. So I'm going to talk about a pressurized filtration system that actually has an external pump. So the pump is not sitting in the water. It's outside of the water next to your filter. To winterize these, first you need to disconnect your pump, and you should have unions on either side of the inlet and the outlet that you can unscrew and take your pump out from inline of the plumbing system. Once you've done that, you should have a basket of some sort, a pre-filter pump basket. Open that basket up, take that skimmer basket out, clean it a little bit, turn that pump over, drain the water out. And some of these external pumps have plugs in them in the pump housing. You're going to take those plugs out because that will make sure all of the water is out of the pumps. We then take the the pump basket, put it back in the container that it goes in, put the plugs in there, and then put the lid back on. They'll store the plugs and everything that your pump needs for the winter time without them getting lost. So now your pump is ready to be winterized. And the next thing you got to do is winterize your pressure filter. There's two different sizes. There's large ones and small ones. The small ones are really very easy. You disconnect your plumbing lines, inlet, outlet, you turn them over, This is what the small ones look like. Turn them over, all of the water will drain out, and that filter is ready to be winterized, put inside for the winter time, and you'll be all set with that one. The bigger ones, which look like this, can be a little tougher. Just like the small ones, you need to get all of the water out of them. So many of them will have a plug on the bottom. You unscrew the plug and water should start to come out, probably a little slowly at first. Then what you need to do is on the top, you can see right here, they have that valve. Bring the valve to winterize or bring it to backwash or something, and it should allow the water to come out faster from that plug that you just opened. If it doesn't, this is where the fun begins. Just real quick, now you're going to take that valve off and either unplug that plug that's in there because there's probably a bunch of junk or whatever clogging that plug and not allowing the water to come through, or you got to take a shop vac and get all of that water out of there. It's really important that you get the water out of that filter so it doesn't crack and explode, because these are just too big to take inside and store for the winter time. So once you get all that water out of there, recommend covering that filter with either a tarp, or you can get an outdoor furniture cover from a hardware store and cover that. Now, the last thing you have to do with these systems is get all of your pipes blown out. So again, you're going to want to use your shop vac, blow out all the pipes, get all the water out of there, plug any pipes that you think should need to be plugged so water cannot infiltrate back in. And the only other thing with these filtration systems is a lot of them have UV lights on them. So if you have a UV light on it, make sure you disconnect it from your plumbing system, drain all the water out, and get that UV light stored indoors as well. Otherwise, the quartz sleeve inside, the bulb, and the housing can get cracked as well. And that's it. You're done. And even though there's a lot more steps to getting your entire pond winterized for the winter, these are the steps you need to take to get your filtration part winterized so that you don't have any problems come spring with burst pipes or broken pumps or broken filters. That's this week's Weekly Ribbit. And don't forget, if this is your pond, make sure you click the link below that says I saw my pond to get your free stuff. If you have any questions, please let us know. Click the link below that says Weekly Ribbit question submission. Attach your picture, put some questions on there. We'd love to answer your questions. If you attach a picture, we'll get you featured on the Weekly Ribbit, and you too can get some free stuff. That's all for this week. Have a great week, and thanks a lot for listening.